Yes, people, what is happening? Welcome back to Lily White Lane. How are we all feeling on this beautiful Thursday morning here in the UK when it is match day? Tottenham Hotspur are set to take on Stay Forever tonight, which will depend on whether we get European football or not this season. So later is definitely going to be an interesting time. As I say, we'll have a post-match reaction on the channel after the game. But before we get into all that good stuff, we do have some very, very tasty and very interesting Tottenham Hotspur transfer news to discuss on today's episode. So without further ado, let's delve right into it. So, on today's episode, we'll be discussing Harry Kane. Obviously, Harry Kane staying at Tottenham Hotspur, and apparently Tottenham Hotspur chairman Daniel Levy is preparing a new 6-year deal for Harry Kane. Not only that, as I say, Fabio Paratici holds a strong interest in a player currently playing in Serie A. Tottenham Hotspur still looking to make a move for Tomiyasu, and who Tottenham Hotspur did draw in the third round of the Carabao Cup. All of that and much more in today's episode. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So we're going to start things off on today's episode by discussing England's captain, Harry Kane. Unless you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard yesterday's news, Harry Kane has announced that he will be staying at Tottenham Hotspur next season despite interest from Manchester City. How can you not be happy about that news if you are a Spurs fan? And look, if you are a Spurs fan and you haven't heard today's news, I'm sure this will make you even more happy, right? So news coming out this morning, very, very interesting, from The Sun, and they state that Daniel Levy is preparing a new 6-year deal for Tottenham Hotspur striker Harry Kane. A new 6-year deal which would surely have a release clause in it, right? A 6-year deal, I think, is a brilliant idea, and if Harry Kane signs that, I think he could be staying with us until he's, 32, 33, a couple years before his contract runs out, because the amount of money you would have to pay, despite having a release clause in there when it comes to wages, if he's just signed a new deal, as I say, is unbelievable. It's unbelievable the amount of money you would have to pay, right? But putting a release clause in there, I think it's the best of both worlds. I think it suits us Spurs fans, as I say, and I think it suits Harry Kane. If Harry Kane wants to move out, Man City or PSG or one of the massive clubs offers a good amount of money, he can go and play for them. But he will stay at Tottenham Hotspur for this season, meaning we get one more year of Harry Kane when we really thought we wouldn't, as I say. He can break more records, as I say. He can be brilliant for the club again, and then potentially next year or the year after, he can go off to Manchester City or PSG. I think that's brilliant news. I think it's a brilliant new contract that Daniel Levy has come up with. And look, Levy really deserves a lot of credit. And I never thought I'd be saying those words either, but Levy really deserves credit for his firm stance on not letting Harry Kane go and not accepting a bid below the amount of money he wanted for Kane. I think it's brilliant the way he's went about doing that, and he does deserve a lot of credit. But look, Kane, new 6-year deal. Let me know what you guys think on the comment section below. And that will move us on to the next piece of news, as I say, that we are set to discuss. And this comes out from Mike McGrath, and he states that a Tottenham Hotspur move remains possible for Tomiyasu in the final days of the window. The current talks are of a 17 million deal for the Bologna defender. Interesting news. Now, I said coming into this window, one quality centre half would be brilliant. We've brought him in. 2 centre halves would be absolutely fantastic. If we can bring in Tomiyasu into our back line, I think our defence, and it's looking good already this season, our defence. I think our defence could be one of our strongest points next season. I really do, especially with a coach who knows how to defend like Nuno Espirito Santo. And people forget, Nuno was a goalkeeper. He watches the game. He sees what defenders do. He knows the positional awareness they need to have. And hence the fact I think Dyer and Sanchez have actually done an alright job so far this season. Why Tanganga has been so physical and, so dominant in that right-back position. Why Reguilon is making these brilliant runs. It's because of Nuno, and a player like Tomiyasu, right, who can, transition from a centre-half to a right-back, look like Thanos clicking his fingers. It's absolutely spot on. It's a move that Nuno would love. It's a move that I would love. It's a move that a lot of Spurs fans would love, as I say. I think if we can get him for, potentially 15 million, lower the price tag a little bit. If not, go out and try and get him in the final days of the window for 17 million, right? Very, very interesting news there. Let me know what you guys think and all about Tomiyasu potentially still moving to Tottenham Hotspur. And that takes us nicely on to our next piece of news, which is Tottenham Hotspur have drawn Wolves in the third round of the Carabao Cup. Spurs draw Wolves in the third round of the EFL Cup. Course it would be Wolves. Sorry. Course it would be Wolves. Who else will we draw in the third round? You know, we wouldn't draw Millwall. We wouldn't draw Wimbledon like Arsenal did. We wouldn't draw someone like MK Dons. We would draw Wolves. We draw a real tough team to beat. A team that we really struggled against in the Premier League. And now have to face in our first tie in the Carabao Cup. You couldn't write it. You really couldn't write it. But look, Spurs versus Wolves in the third round. I'll tell you one positive about this. It's a game that you can get much more up for. It's a game that you can look forward to more, right? Arsenal the other day, I hate giving them credit, but they look forward to the West Brom. If that was some, League 2 team, they'd just be expecting to win. They didn't know what to expect, which brings an extra element of excitement to that game, and hence the fact they went out there and destroyed West Brom. So look, third round of the FA Cup, Spurs versus Wolves. It's going to be interesting whether we get the win or not, whether Wolves manage to pick up, I only said all 3 points, whether Wolves move on to the next round. It is definitely going to be interesting. So look, let me know what you guys think about that draw in the comment section below. Are you happy with Wolves, or would you wanted someone better? Or do you wanted someone a little bit worse? Let me know your opinions. Right, moving on to the next piece of news. Pape Sarr has officially completed his Tottenham Hotspur medical, according to Fabrizio Romano. Paperwork set to be completed today. Announcement this week. Pape Sarr going back on loan to Mets, as I say. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Brilliant piece of business this is. If you want to hear my opinion on the Pape Sarr deal, check out my video I did a couple of days ago, as I say. But look, medical completed, another new signing for Spurs. This window's going well, isn't it, in my opinion? This window is going well. And to end off today's transfer news, as I say, we're going to be discussing Fabio Paratici targeting Weston McKennie, as I say. From Serie A, Fabio Paratici holds a strong interest in Weston McKennie. If we could pull off Weston McKennie, honestly, I think this window would be our best window for what? This would be our best window since we bought in the likes of Gareth Bale, since we bought in some of these top players in the past, the likes of Luka Modric. This would be our best window since 2009, 2010, because we have really gone out there and, got the business done, in my opinion. A lot of, one of my main criticisms, right, for Spurs in the last few years is that we've bottled it. We really have bottled it. We've went for a load of big players, Paulo Dybala, some of the biggest players in the world. We'd wait until the end and the deal would get called off. But this year, as soon as Fabio Paratici has come in, he's been targeting players, constantly targeting players. We signed Romero, that's going to be 51 million in January. It's showing a lot of ambition. We've brought in Brian Gill for the future, right? The massive issue for me in the past is we target a player, we wouldn't get that player. We target another player, we wouldn't get him, and we target another one, our third choice, and we'd pull him off. Every single player that we've went for, and every single player, all three players that we have signed, well, four now with Pape Sarr, were our first choice. We wanted them, we've got them. And I think we've been proficient in the way that we've got business done, and absolutely brilliant in the way that we've got business done this summer. And Weston McKennie for Tottenham could really be the cherry on top. And there we go, people. This has been your video, guys. Obviously, we will have an Insta-match reaction / match review for latest game against Pacos de Ferreira. Fingers crossed we can get the job done there. But anyway, thank you for watching the video. As I say, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give it. I nearly said a Manny Pacquiao one too, but he didn't get the job done on Saturday. So give it an AJ 1-2 because he fights in September, doesn't he? Give him an AJ 1-2, a jab and a right hook to that subscribe button. Smash that like button and know if you haven't already. Tap the notification bell so you'll be notified and let know every time we upload on the channel. So thank you for watching the video, and as always, come on you Spurs.